Hello Internet, and welcome to Financial Journey, where we talk all things personal finance. In a previous video, I mentioned the FIRE, or Financial Independence Retire Early movement. There are multiple paths to financial independence, including Lean FIRE, Fat FIRE, Slow FI, Barista FI, and so on, all of which I will describe in other videos. But today, I want to talk about my favorite path to financial independence, particularly for those just graduating high school. That would be coasting financial independence. Coast-Fi takes all of the principles of traditional FIRE and limits or condenses the sacrifices, while simultaneously foregoing the early retirement opportunities of FIRE. Coast-Fi is a strategy in which aggressive saving now can set you up for retirement in the future. One reaches coasting financial independence once they have saved enough in their retirement account that their investments can grow to a traditional retirement enough to support the retirement income needs without the need for any additional contributions. Essentially, while you may not have enough to retire today, your financial future is secure. So you may be wondering, if you're not going to retire early, what is the benefit of coasting financial independence? Well, first of all, because you are leveraging the full power of time and compound interest, the savings goals for Coast-Fi are much more realistic, without the need for extreme frugality, at least in the long term. As I see it, Coast-Fi is sort of the YOLO version of the FIRE movement. After you reach your coasting financial independence goal, you simply need to maintain enough income to support yourself, which gives you a lot of freedom. You can work part-time, go into a lower paying but more fulfilling career, or simply stay in your same job, but increase your spending and just overall enjoyment of life. Now, I'm the first to admit, this isn't the easiest thing. Despite my family's own considerable income, given the stage of life that we're at, we're not even attempting to reach the 50% or greater savings rate that many in the FIRE movement achieve. I'll discuss our strategy in more depth in another video, but for those with the drive, reaching the point that you're saving 50% or more of your income, even if you can only do so for a short time, can literally set you up for the rest of your life. Let me explain, and to be honest, this actually quite surprised me when I did the calculation. But let's take a look at a quick thought experiment. Let's start with a high school graduate who, upon turning 18, is able to find a job making $30,000 per year. While not every starter job would have such a salary, I don't think this is an unreasonable amount, particularly if they can work some overtime or a side hustle. And as it's still socially acceptable and financially responsible, let's assume they still live at home, and with housing and food taken care of, they manage to save 50% of their income each and every year until their 22nd birthday. At a nice and conservative 7% annual rate of return, which is more or less what the stock market has averaged after accounting for inflation, they would then have just under $100,000. Now, at age 22, let's say this now young adult moves out from their parents' home and suddenly has to pay rent, utilities, their cell phone, and so on. Eventually, they get married and they start a family. And after turning 22, they never save or invest another cent beyond this initial nearly $100,000 investment. Using the same 7% annual rate of return, at age 65, they would retire with over $1.2 million in today's money, as we're already accounting for inflation. If their salary had remained $30,000, or at least inflation adjusted $30,000 over the years, this would be more than enough to support this $30,000 per year spending based on the 4% rule, or even at a more conservative 3% withdrawal rate. If instead they were able to really squeeze down on their spending and save 75% of this admittedly modest income for just the same 4 years, by age 65, they could have over 1.8 million inflation-adjusted dollars. Again, assuming a nice, conservative 7% return. If those numbers don't deserve a like, I don't know what does. So please smash the like button down below. Show your support for the channel. It really does help. Now, at a glance, those numbers certainly look good, but the real question's gonna be, how does that compare to conventional retirement savings practices? For the sake of this analysis, I'll be just assuming a constant $30,000 income throughout their working career, but I'll address the salary changes that likely will happen later on. If we start with advice from books like The Richest Man in Babylon, the recommendation is to save at least 10% of your income, which at this 7% return would leave you just shy of $1 million retiring at age 65. Financial gurus like Dave Ramsey recommend putting away 15% of your income for retirement, which would leave you at a little under $1.5 million at retirement. At a more aggressive 20% savings a year, you would have slightly under $2 million. Now, like I said earlier, I'll admit, most people will get raises or promotions over time, so this is not a perfect analysis. But even if they just use the F.I.R.E number of $1.2 million from that 4 years of saving, half their income, this number could now support a $48,000 per year salary in retirement. And if they could really buckle down, get that 75% savings rate over the same 4-year period, growing up to $1.8 million, that could now fund $72,000 per year. Now, another consideration here is most people will probably not go completely cold turkey after saving between 50 and 75% of their income all the way down to zero. If instead of seizing all retirement savings at age 22, after saving say 75% for the previous 4 years, this young adult, from our example, were to continue investing just 10% of their income throughout their career, they could retire with more than $2.5 million. That's more than $700,000 more than if they had stopped altogether, and more than $600,000 more than someone who saved 20% of their income for 47 years. In fact, this is enough in total to support a $100,000 per year income in retirement, all from a $30,000 per year income. As you can see, aggressively saving early in your career can leave you with similar levels of retirement savings to more conventional, consistent savings plans. And that's even if you drastically cut back on or completely eliminate your savings altogether. And the benefits of coasting financial independence extend even further. Because F.I.R.E usually plans for a traditional retirement, those who pursue this can make full use of retirement accounts, including things like Roth IRAs and Roth 401ks, as they won't be withdrawing these funds before 59 and a half. And that means that the entirety of this retirement income could be 100% tax-free. F.I.R.E is just one path towards financial independence, but it is the path which requires the least sacrifice as time is on your side to assist compound interest in reaching your long-term goal. With lower savings goals, coasting financial independence does not require nearly as extreme savings rates or at least these savings rates are only necessary for a short period of time. There is of course a trade-off with when you can retire, but what one loses in early retirement, they can easily gain back in flexibility and experiences due to lower reliance on frugality. And coasting financial independence is not just for teens or those in their early 20s. With much more realistic goals and the power of compound interest, people of any age can work towards Coast-Fi. Do you want to know what your Coast-Fi number is? There's really only a few variables needed to calculate it. Your age, when you plan to retire, your estimated investment returns, and how much you're planning to spend in retirement. I'll go ahead and leave a calculator in the description down below if you'd like to calculate your own Coast-Fi number. So let's hear from you. Is Coast-Fi right for you? How would you change your life if you no longer needed to worry about saving money, as your financial future was already secure? If you haven't done so already, please take a moment to absolutely destroy the like button, as it truly helps this channel reach more people. As always, on this channel we're tracking my own family's financial journey and updating every week with new videos on personal finance, investing, and retirement. I hope you'll join our community and check back soon for new videos. I'll see you in the next one.